This story comes from Japan. In Japan, there's a forum called 2channels, kind of like Reddit, where people share their own opinions or stories. So, the stories we are covering today comes from one of the most famous posts on the site about Topi and two friends who, while working at a resort during summer break, ended up entering a forbidden area and getting haunted by some spirits. I'll be telling this story in two parts, and all three main characters are using pseudonyms. To keep the video pacing tight, I've made some edits to the original story, but nothing that changes the plot. I hope you enjoy it. So, without further ado, let's get started. This happened when I was a junior in college. Summer break was coming up, and three of us, Kento, Shotai, me, Yodai, decided to plan a trip to the beach. When preparing, Shotai suddenly goes, "Hey, if you're gonna be by the ocean anyway, why don't we just pick up a summer job there too?" I didn't have any big plans for break, so I was like, yeah, sure, why not? Then we started looking for jobs. Actually, there were tons online. Eventually, we found one in that looked perfect. Best part, it was right near one of the beaches famous for summer flames. Couldn't go wrong. We called, applied, and boom, everything was super smoothly. We were hyped. To celebrate, we randomly hit up a public bathhouse. Everything was perfect. I couldn't wait to start my beautiful vacation. Finally, the big day came. The three of us packed up and headed to the inn, all excited. When we got there, we saw it was an old but fairly big 2-story place, more like a lodge really. We called out at the entrance, and this young girl came out to greet us with a big smile. Her name was Misaki, a local girl who grew up nearby. With her came the landlady and her husband. She was a cheerful, larger woman, her laugh filling the whole room, and her husband was a genuinely gentleman. Such a warm, welcoming vibe. After introductions, the landlady said, the inn had 4 guest rooms, 1 big dining hall, and 2 rooms for the staff to live in. 7 rooms in total. The guest rooms are down the hall to the right, and your living quarters are at the end of the left hallway. Go drop your stuff, relax a bit, and I'll explain things after. One of my friends, Kento, said, "Wait, aren't the guest rooms upstairs?" The landlady just smiled. "Nope, we're not using the 2nd floor right now." Okay, maybe it was just because it wasn't peak season yet. Made sense, so we didn't think much of it. We put our stuff away, checked out the view from the windows. It was really peaceful. I told myself, even if this job gets tough, spending a summer in a place like this is gonna be awesome. The next day, our work life started. Sure, there was plenty of tough stuff, but everyone was kind, so it never felt heavy. About a week in, one night, my companion goes, "Man, we really lucked out with this gig, huh?" "Yeah, and the pay's solid too." "True, but once peak season hits, it's gonna get crazy busy." "By the way, when the season starts, do they open up the 2nd floor?" "No, I don't think so. Isn't that where the landlady and her husband live?" Kendo and I turned to each other. "Wait, really?" "I don't know for sure, but haven't you noticed? Lately, the landlady's been carrying trays of food upstairs." "Nope, don't notice." "Okay, maybe it's because I do sweeping duty. I'd often see her disappear up the staircase with a tray of food." "Huh, interesting." We didn't really think much of it. Maybe the landlord couple enjoyed a late night snack. Who knows? A couple of days later, I was doing my usual chore, sweeping the hallway. Then I caught a glimpse of the landlady sneaking out of a guest room. Was she cleaning it? But isn't that the girl's job? The more I thought about it, the stranger it felt. So that night, when we were about to sleep, I told my buddies. To my surprise, Kento had seen it too, and he couldn't figure it out either. After some discussion, we decided to just hold back our curiosity and keep working. As long as nothing major happened, we'd be fine. With that packed, we went to bed. But it didn't stop here. The very next night, Shutai suddenly called us over, acting all dramatic. Remember how I said the landlady always goes upstairs? Well, last night, I waited up until she came back down. It only took about 5 minutes. Guess what I found? She was holding an empty tray. Okay, and? Think about it. She eats with us every night, right? But she also takes food upstairs, which means someone's living up there. But we've never seen anyone else, never even heard about them. Could be someone sick, maybe, like a bedridden family member. That's what I thought too. But who finishes dinner in 5 minutes flat? That's pretty lively for a sick person. That's not exactly solid evidence, man. But to be honest, by the time all of us started thinking the same thing, what's up there on the second floor? This really piqued our curiosity. After a quick discussion, we made a bold decision to follow her. So the next day, we rushed our chores and met up by the entrance to wait. Sure enough, around dinner time, the landlady came out with a tray and headed up. Okay, here's something you need to know. The stairs to the second floor weren't inside the inn. You have to go out the front, walk along the wall, and turn a corner. There was this hidden door there, and behind it, the staircase. Kind of a weird setup. Anyway, we watched her go up. 5 minutes later, she came back down with an empty tray, not even noticing us. Say, told you, that was fast. So what the hell up there? No clue. Wanna check? But what if... Screw it, let's go. Without hesitation, we marched over to the door. To my surprise, it wasn't locked. I grabbed the handle, gave it a twist, and it opened just like that. Shutai quickly leaned in, peeked, and suddenly pinched his nose. Ah! What? What's wrong? You don't smell that? Something stinks. Is that so? Really, it smells like rotten garbage. Just open the door wider, you'll see. So I took a deep breath and swung it open. Instantly, a wave of warm, dusty air hit us, sending particles dancing in the light. You mean this musty smell? Weird, it's gone now. I ignored him. This guy was always fond of joking around with us. I looked up, and in front of us was a narrow hallway, barely wide enough for one person to pass through. And there was no light either, just a faint glow from outside. Hell no, I'm not going up there. Me neither. Come on, we finally managed to find this place. Fine, I'll do it. Otherwise, I won't sleep tonight. Wait, you're seriously going? Yeah, you two stay here. Just keep lookout. Remember to shout at me if something happens. Then I ignored their warnings, stepped inside, and slowly began climbing. The staircase was dim, lit only by slivers of light sneaking in from outside. Step by step, I went up. And then... the wood groaned under me. I froze, turned back nervously. Kendo and Shutai were watching me from the bottom. They gave us a thumbs up. All good. I nodded, told myself it was just old wood, and kept going. But the higher I climbed, the more my nerves shook. Because as my eyes strained against the dark, I thought I saw something standing at the end of the hallway. But when I looked again, it was gone in a flash. I tried to take another step, but to my surprise, a sharp noise came from under my shoes, and I started to feel like I was stepping on something, like tiny crunches. Bugs? Right then, I was terrified the sound would alert whoever was on the floor. I glanced back again, just seeking some tiny bit of comfort, anything to calm my nerves. Thank God, the two of them were still there, silhouettes in the faint light, thumbs raised. Finally, I reached the top, but then a stench slammed into my face. It was foul, like rotting garbage mixed with sewage. My head spun. What the hell is up here? I looked around, trying to see through the dark. Right then, something hit me in the dark. At the end of the hallway, there was a mountain of food piled up in the corner of the landing, and that was definitely where the stench was coming from. Then I noticed a door behind this mountain. It was creepy as hell. The entire panel was covered with shades of plywood, nailed across a frame, dozens of nails hammered in. On top of that were plastered that looked like a ton of paper charms, talismans, seals, whatever they were. And strewn around the nails were some kind of long, thin cord, crisscrossed like spider webs. The whole vibe was like the door itself was screaming, "Hey, we're keeping something mysterious locked in here." Honestly, it was my first time seeing a real Afuda up close. I can't swear that's what they were, but I was pretty sure I just made a big mistake. There was definitely something paranormal behind that door. I turned on my heel, held my breath, trying to leave quietly, but wait, someone was clawing at the other side of the door. At that point, I really thought my heart was going to stop. Is someone in there? Who? And why? I didn't have the guts to run, and I didn't have the guts to turn around either. I just stood there, frozen. Meanwhile, the sounds behind me didn't stop. I was so scared it would break through the door and come after me. I desperately tried to make my legs move, but just as I was struggling, all the noises suddenly stopped. Everything went dead quiet. However, it was only for an instant. Then damn, now the sound was coming from above me, from the ceiling. And at the same time, out of the corner of my eye, I saw movement. I was completely at a loss for what to do. For a moment, I even thought I was going to die here tonight. Hey, get down here now. You die. What are you doing? Get out. Are you okay? Get down here now. Get down here now. You die. What are you doing? Are you okay? It was my friends' voices. Their shoutings finally snapped me back to life. No more hesitation, I shut my eyes and bolted down the stairs as fast as I could. I was so terrified that everything blurred together, and by the time I came to my senses, I was already back in our room. Kendo and Shutai were sitting on the bed, clearly shaken by my reaction. They didn't say a word, just sat there, waiting for me to calm down. About 10 minutes later, they finally spoke. What happened up there? Was there something? I heard. To be honest, I hadn't fully recovered. Those creepy sounds were still echoing in my ears. Hey, tell me, what were you eating up there? What? Right after you got up there, you crouched down, right? Then you were stuffing something in your mouth. So tell me, what were you eating up there? No, I didn't eat anything. I just heard some noises. Then they both stared at my chest. Following their gaze, I looked down, and there it was. Clumps of filthy, rotten slop stuck all over me. The same thick, sour smell rising off it, just like on that creepy floor. My head started spinning. I bolted for the bathroom and threw up everything in my stomach. Why? What on earth had happened up there? I remember going upstairs, then the strange sound, the black shadow, but I never once crouched down or eaten anything. And yet, looking in the mirror, my clothes were smeared with it, and even my palms were covered with sticky rice. I couldn't figure it out. When I came back to bed, Kento and Shutai looked even more worried. So I told them, piece by piece, exactly what I'd experienced at the top of the stairs. As I finished my story, we all fell into silence. Nobody could explain it, not even a guess. But right then, I heard a strange noise came from my shoes. I looked down and saw countless tiny cuts across the bottoms of my shoes. Peering closer, I found plastic-like fragments, some red, some of blackish white, embedded in my sneakers. Shutai picked up one of the fragments, squinting at it, then he gasped and dropped it on the floor. His reaction made both Kento and me jump. What the hell? What's that? Look closer. Spit it out, man. You're scaring me. They're nails. Nails? Right. When I stepped on the stairs, I did feel like I was stepping on bugs and heard tiny crunches. So it was nails. A folder, locked door, scratching sounds. My mind going blank. Yeah, this place was definitely wrong. We couldn't stay here anymore. I quickly shared my thoughts with them, and they felt the same. That night, we packed our things and crammed into one bed, waiting for the next day to quit the job. Morning finally came. When the alarm went off, we nearly jumped out of bed. While I was brushing my teeth, Shutai said to me, "I'm sorry, you went through way worse than me. And here I am like this. I'm really sorry I didn't go up there to help." That alone made my eyes dim with tears. But then it hit me. Worse than me? What does it mean? I was the one who had the actual experience, right? Right then, Kendo called out for us to go downstairs. I was about to follow him, but Shotai didn't move. He just stood there, staring at me, trembling. Noticing something was wrong, Kendo hurried over to us. "You okay? Did not sleeping mess with your head?" Shutai suddenly snapped. "You okay? You okay? You think I'm okay? Hell no! Me and Yudai went through hell up there. Don't pretend you care when you don't know anything." He suddenly shouted at Kento, his eyes full of anger. I froze. I had no idea what he was talking about, and why was Shotai so worked up? He'd always been the calm one. I'd never seen him lose his temper before. Kento looked flustered, completely at a loss. Seeing the chance, I pressed them with all the questions piling up in my head. "What do you mean, went through hell? You were down here the whole time, right?" "Yeah, I was, watching from below the whole time, and I'm still watching now." That time, I was down below, yeah, but I kept watching you go upstairs. But around the time you reached the top, I started seeing something else." "Yeah, and what did you say?" "It was shadows, I think." "Shadows?" "Yeah, 5 shadows. At first, I thought it was just your shadow. But even when you crouched down, eating that leftover food, the shadow, it didn't move. It just stayed there, watching behind you. Then it started moving, but they were clinging to the walls, like spiders, stuck to the sides, the ceiling. They were wriggling, crawling around, and he started breathing hard, like just remembering it was too much. They weren't human. Their shape was sort of human, but it wasn't right." A chill exploded across my skin. So, something had been following me this whole time? Was that why I started eating that rotten food, like I was in some kind of trance? For a moment, none of us said a word. The room fell into a heavy silence. I tried to stay calm, forcing myself to breathe, slow and steady. Then Kento spoke up again. "Earlier you said you were still seeing them?" Sorry, that was just me freaking out. I'm fine now, really. Haha." He smiled. Eyes were somewhere else entirely. Obviously, it was a fake smile. Completely forced, which made me believe he was hiding something from us. At that point, Misaki's voice came from the hall, calling us for breakfast. Shutai gave us a look. He didn't want to have any breakfast. "I think I'll skip breakfast. Kendo, you brought your laptop, right? Can I borrow it for a bit? There's something I want to look up. I don't have much time, sorry. But you two go ahead." "Sure, it's in my bag. You can use it. Wi-Fi's already connected." So Kendo and I headed off to the dining hall. When we got there, the landlady looked at us, then at my feet. Her face frozen for a second, then smiled. This huge, unsettling smile. "Good morning. Sleep well." It was just an ordinary greeting, but it sent chills down my spine. Because that was the first time she'd ever said it, and I could tell she meant to say more. "Yeah, sorry we're late." Kendo said that and gave us a light smack on the butt. At the table, we told the landlady that Shutai wasn't feeling well and was still resting in the room, and asked Misaki she could make him some rice balls later. Hearing that, Misaki looked concerned, but still happily agreed. During the whole time, the landlady just kept smiling, sitting there, staring straight at me. Her gaze made the two of us so uneasy, we almost forgot how to eat. Before long, we couldn't take it anymore. We hurried through the breakfast and went back to our room. As we stepped up to the door, we heard Shutai's voice. He was on the phone with someone. We didn't want to interrupt, so we slipped inside quietly and waited for him to finish. Yes, today. It has to be today. Oh, thank you so much. Yeah, I'll definitely come by. Thank you again. He hung up, looking relieved. Sounded like he had plans to go somewhere right after we left this place. But we didn't ask any questions. Not our business. We just packed up our things and headed back to the main hall. When we got there, Misaki was cleaning up after breakfast. The landlady wasn't around. A sudden thought hit me. Could she be up there? That image flashed through my mind. Her carrying a tray of food, disappearing up those stairs to the second floor. Just thinking about it made me shiver, like the nightmare from yesterday had come crawling back. I forced the thought out of my head. No, I had to quit. I had to leave this place today. Finally, we determined to wait for the landlady to come back. After a while, she returned, looking surprised to see the three of us sitting there doing nothing. What's wrong with you boys? Ma'am, can we talk to you for a minute? Sure. What's with those serious faces? She sat down across from us. I'm sorry to say this out of the blue, but we've decided to quit. We'll be leaving today. Please, we'd like to quit. The landlady's face didn't move an inch, not even a twitch of her eyebrows. It was eerie, almost like she'd been expecting this. After a moment of silence, she said with a light laugh, Oh, I see. Well, can be helped, I guess. What silly boys you are. Then she started talking about our pay, cleaning the room, when to hand over the keys, all very normal, practical stuff. The conversation went way too smoothly, honestly, and the three of us felt relieved. But somewhere deep down, we all felt something wasn't quite right. About an hour later, we went back to the main hall to say our goodbyes. The landlady and her husband were sitting there, and Misaki, looking a little sad. We knelt in front of them, side by side, expressing our thanks again. The landlady stood up and walked over to us. Oh no, thank you, really. It was short, but I appreciate it. Here, it's not much. She then handed each of us a brown envelope and a small drawstring pouch. The envelopes were surprisingly heavy, but the pouches were light as air. Behind her, Misaki said softly, Here, the rice balls. I made one for each of you. Take care, okay? To anyone watching, it probably looked like some touching farewell scene. But in reality, we were running away. We quickly called a taxi, and the three of them came out to see us off. In the taxi, I finally let out a long, deep breath. Thank God we made it through. For the next few days, I could rest at home, completely forgetting all of those creepy experiences, letting them fade from my life. But at that moment, Shutai suddenly handed the driver some kind of note and said, Please take us here instead. The driver looked at the note, frowned, and said, You sure? That's quite a ways off. It's fine. Then she turned to Kento and me, both of us looking totally confused. There's somewhere we need to go. You two are coming too. Huh? Where the hell are we going? But after seeing how Shutai had been acting that morning, neither of us dared to ask. We were afraid he'd lose it again. After a while, the driver suddenly said, Hey, that car behind us, are they friends of yours? What? We turned around, and sure enough, a small pickup truck was following right behind us, and behind the wheel, waving his hand, was the old man. Maybe we'd forgotten something? We asked the driver to pull over. Once we stopped at the side of the road, the old man parked right behind us, got out, and walked up. You can't just go home like this. Shutai immediately replied, We're not going home. Not like this. We can't. For some reason, the old man and Shutai seemed to be on the same page. Wait, what's going on? The old man looked straight at me and said, You went up there, didn't you? My heart skipped a beat. I was terrified, not because of ghosts or anything, but because I realized we might have done something really bad. Yes. If you go home like this, you'll be completely taken away. Damn it, why'd you have to go up there? I guess it's my fault for not warning you properly. Taken away? What the hell does that mean? It's okay, we're going to a purification ritual. I've already made the arrangements. Okay, I couldn't believe what I was hearing. Possessed? Me? So I'm gonna die now? That's how this goes, right? Purification, huh? Yes. You can't say them, can't you? Shutai didn't answer. Wait, say them? What do you mean? Shutai said quietly. I'm sorry, please, just don't ask right now. I suddenly grabbed Shutai by the collar. Enough already! What the hell is going on with you? The old man stepped in between us. Hey, calm down. You guys should be thanking Shutai, not yelling at him. Kento shouted back. But come on, there's no reason he can't tell us what's happening. You two can't say it yet. The one in the most danger right now is Shutai. Kento and I turned to look at Shutai at the same time. He was standing there, looking troubled, like he didn't know what to do. But I'm the one who actually went up there. I know. But you can't say them, can't you? It's that pitch black thing, right? I'm telling you, it's not an ordinary ghost. Even if you try purification ritual, I don't think it's gonna do a damn thing. Shutai looked at him suspiciously. Because it's happened before, and it didn't work then either. When you start to say them, things go downhill fast. Real fast. Hearing this, Shutai broke down. He collapsed to his knees and started crying. Kento and I just stood there, frozen, not knowing what to do. You guys okay? Oh, sorry for calling you out here, but can you drop them off here? Are you sure? But... He glanced at each of us in turn. Ignoring him, the old man spoke directly to Shutai. Do you know why I came after you? There's someone who knows how all this started. I'll take you to them. I've already spoken with them. They're waiting for us. There's no time. Trust me. Please help us. He cried like a child, couldn't even breathe properly. Right then, I realized Shutai must have been carrying something huge all by himself. Determined, I turned to the driver and said firmly, Sir, I'm sorry. We'll get out here. How much do we owe you? Alright, we'll stop here for now. This episode left us with quite a few mysteries, but in the next one, we'll finally uncover the truth behind all of them. I promise, the customs and legends behind this story will absolutely blow your mind. Then, see you next Saturday night. Bye bye.